MG Rob back with you, and today we're doing part 8 of Project Ginsu before YouTube. Now I haven't done any videos in the last week because I've been out house shopping and I've also been looking into upgrades for the equipment on the channel. Now while I haven't found a house yet, I did get a new camera, or in this case a new cell phone, that's what I'm filming on right now, but it has a much better camera than what I was using before. So the lighting is going to be so much better. It works better with the amount of light that I have in the shop, so I don't have to set up nearly as much extra lighting, so you won't have to look at as much glare off of my lenses on my glasses. Now being a better camera though, you might get a better look at my old ugly mug though. Anyway, where we left off last was I had gotten the rails bolted back into the jig on Ginsu, and we were getting ready to start on the Firewall and final engine placement. So let's get looking at that. So after getting the rails bolted in place, I got the engine setting back where it needed to be so that I could start looking at the rest of the Firewall. And that first pic, which is the same angle we're looking at now, shows the 2-inch further setback the engine is than the original engine was. And from here, I started by moving this part of the Firewall back 1 inch to give me just a little more tire clearance. Now, it's a bit of a guess whether it's enough tire clearance. Hopefully I don't have to go back and do any more adjustments. And I started by trimming down the original Firewall section to fit and test fitting it to see what I needed to do with it. In those 2 pictures, I had already done some work on it to get it to fit and to rebend all this to get it to sit in there to work with. But then next thing I had to do was I had to work on this top piece here to bring it back out to here on the top. So I rebuilt all the top section here. So I test fitted the late B pedal box assembly that I plan on using, and as I was building this I made sure that this here would clear at least the stock power booster, and that it would clear the engine. While I don't plan on actually using a stock power booster, I am keeping my options open to use a booster, because there are some other ones out there about that size I can use if I decide to go with power brakes on this thing rather than manual. So this is when I decided it was time to fit at least the left side inner fender well over here. Now, if you remember, I got this from a parts car that was pretty rough. So this area here was all rotted out and I had to rebuild this whole area. And since the shape of this rail is now quite a bit different than original, I had to chop it up and make a lot of changes to it to make it fit. But I still wanted to keep it looking pretty original visually. So then I mocked the whole front sheet metal back up onto the car to check the alternator clearance with the bonnet and the inner fender well to make sure it was good. Then I basically just had to repeat the process over here on the right side. Of course, starting with moving this back 1 inch. Then fitting the original firewall section back into place to see what needed to be done. Then rebuilding the top of it here. And then of course, since the inner fender well came from the same car as the other side, it was rotted pretty much the same way and had to be rebuilt as well. Well, one change I did make to this side was I did put this hole in here that wasn't originally there to match the driver's side. Partly is because I'm obsessed about saving weight, and that does, save a very small amount, but also I have an idea of what I want to try to do using those holes on both sides. And that will come later in the project when I start building the roll cage. So then I mocked the whole front end back up on it again to make sure everything looked good, including the fenders. And that's why I had widened the bonnet before doing all this, so that all that stuff could line up well, and I know I had it right. So that's all I have the time for today. I really wanted to get a video up, so we're going to have to end it right here. Now, as always, if you like what I'm doing, like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified when new videos come out. This is MG Rob. Later.